If random head timing errors frequently occur on your laying machine, there are a couple of areas that we're going to need to check. One will be located underneath of the head timing cover. Here we can access the board counting sensors and disc assembly. Now the first thing we need to do is rotate the head completely to the 10-pin side wall. What we're looking for is that the scribe mark that is in this disc is in perfect line with the scribe mark that is on this mounting plate. I also want you to notice that the black part of the fan is towards the actual side plate, and that is correct. From that point, we would now want to go line the head assembly up with the 7-pin side proximity sensor. And we want to make sure that the target on the head assembly is in perfect center with the proximity switch. Once there, we're going to look at our position sensor number 1, which is our board counting sensor, in relation to where this fan and the center point is. Now what should happen is that when we just lightly move that disc back and forth, that sensor will turn on and off. From that point, we would move the head assembly to the 10-pin side and center it with the right proximity sensor. We're also going to look at this sensor now, which is position sensor number 2, and that's going to be working with the right proximity switch. Once again, we want to be centered with that proximity switch, and I want to just be able to rock this pulley just a little bit back and forth. And that should turn off that light on that sensor. Now, if you're having difficulty seeing the lights on the sensors, you could access the manager's menus, and you can see the sensors actuating on the keypad. Also, if an adjustment was needed to be made, you could loosen up the Phillips screws on each side of the sensor and move this either way so that you would be centered on that split of the fans, because you can see that this is slotted. Since the actual head timing adjustment checked out fine, there are a couple of other things we'd like you to check while we're in this area. One would be the distance from the target on the head assembly to the proximity sensor itself. And we measure that distance by using a feeler gauge, and we'd like that to be 25 thousandths of a gap. And that looks very good. Another thing that we would check is the distance from the outer edge of the proximity sensor to the side plate. And that should be 1 1/8 of an inch.